Thank you for clicking the video. If you like the content as it goes along, please subscribe. Today's video is about how people's morals change when they start to make a lot of money. In this video, Floyd Mayweather's father, who taught his son how to box from when he was small, alongside with his uncle, how Floyd Mayweather started getting disrespectful when he became a multi-millionaire, how he was very respectful when he was very small, but he became disrespectful when he became a multi-millionaire. Now, as a Muslim, I don't believe you should bust people up here to earn a living, or knock people out to earn a living, or try and damage people to earn a living. As a boxer, I don't believe you should do it. But you're gonna see how he was very respectful as a little boy, and as he grew up, you know, like he would do certain things that most broke people, they won't speak to their parents like that. Yeah. So let's play the video.
Money made, that's all I do is get money. Today is a rose gold day, as you can see. Arnold Schwarzenegger, limited edition AP, all factory. 1.8 million right here. The $20 bills section. We like to call it the Andrew Jackson section, but I like to call it wallpaper. 200,000 in 20s. I heard in the song you can get the biggest Chanel bag in the store if you want it. Well, it's the biggest Chanel bag in the world. I got this bag from Karl Lagerfeld.
A youth spent studying those who came before him. His father and his uncle Roger, both well-regarded pros. Still, it was clear early on his talents surpassed even his pedigree. In 1993, under his father's tutelage, Floyd won his first National Golden Gloves championship. He was 16.
It felt good, but it was very hard. I had to struggle,
Listen to this.
First, I want to thank the good man upstairs for giving me this opportunity to win the national championship. And second of all, I want to thank my father.
See, he thanked his father. Yeah, look.
The craft was a family business. A comfort with conflict was embedded in his blood.
Everything you taught me from day one. I always remember.
Everything working, baby. Everything working. Good. Hey, Floyd, be careful.
I got you.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right, baby. Make sure everything's good. All right, yes, sir.
I love
I stayed with my dad for a certain period of time. Then eventually I moved with my mother to Jersey. There was 7 people staying in a 1-bedroom apartment, no heat. I mean, sometimes no lights. My mother was on crack at one particular time, and eventually, I moved back to Grand Rapids, Michigan with my father. I asked my mother, can she move back also, and she eventually moved back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I was happy when she moved back, but she was back on drugs. I seen my dad sell my mother drugs.
Father in prison, and boxing his outlet.
What have you learned from your son, being that he's taught you so much? You've taught him so much, excuse me.
Yes,
what have you learned from Floyd?
Huh?
What have you learned from Floyd? Junior, excuse me.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. At one time, we was coming up, we have never had an argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. We was on HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, I don't know. I'm just telling you, man. It is or it ain't. Sometimes, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that, people get money, man, things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money.
One more time. This is my last time. This is my last time. This is my last time. Not you. You're not in there. You okay? Sweet. Babe, come on. Come get in the camera. You're going to be a part of history.
So you killing the bank right there. That's a deposit. Y'all see it? Gucci bag here. That's a money. This what a Gucci money bag look like.
Right.
That's what a Gucci money bag look like. That's where all this came out of. All this right here was in these two bags.
Yes,
and they cost how much? Only money can go on high price money. You know what I'm saying? So there you go.
We got options. I got about 100 cars. But right here, we like to call this the Sweet 16. Lambo, Ferrari, Lambo, Maybach, a Maybach, whatever you want to call it. Of course, the McLaren, the original McLaren. Bentley, Rolls, the Maybach truck or Maybach truck, whatever you want to call it. The big boy 4x4, I got options. I don't know what I want to take out tonight. I'm looking. You know what? Today's gonna be a light day. So you know what I'm gonna do? Make things nice and easy. I take this up. This is what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna hit the girl collection. I'll see you guys at my strip club.
On days when Floyd Mayweather Sr. visits his son's gym, the climate of competition often extends to rhetorical duels between the two men. But this is the Mayweather Boxing Club, where at any moment amusing and innocuous repartee can without warning turn dark.
Our training camp is fine. Our training camp is fine. We are okay.
Our training camp is fine.
Our training camp is fine. We undefeated. We've been undefeated. We're going to stay undefeated. Our training camp is
You was
okay.
undefeated when you started with your daddy.
I started with you, didn't I?
No, you. Okay, guess what? Guess what? Let me tell you this right here.
Don't nobody want to be with you.
Let me tell you something.
De La Hoya left you. De La Hoya don't want to be with you.
Then leave me. I
fighter want to be with you. When you got De La Hoya, he was champion. When you got to us, we was already 15 or 14 fights to the good before we was finna fight for title.
Don't worry about it. I'm the one.
Roger's the one. Roger's my trainer. Roger made.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Roger ain't made you.
Roger made.
Well, you was right here when I was training you.
This is my trainer right here.
Ain't nothing wrong with you being
Roger's my trainer.
It don't make no
we don't want
difference.
nobody in the way interfering while we
It don't
working.
make no difference.
We don't want nobody in the way while we working. Stop
You
interfering.
been working.
Get out of our way.
Get out your way.
You in our way. This our gym.
Where your girl
This
at?
our gym. Get out of our way. Why you here?
Ain't nobody
Here.
Nobody
Nobody tell you to come in. You don't gotta come here.
I ain't got.
Nobody asked you to come in.
It ain't no problem.
Nobody asked you to come here.
Ain't no problem.
Nobody asked you to come here.
Ain't nobody gonna come in. What you talking about? Hey, you better hold it. Ain't
Nobody gonna grab me.
You ain't finna do
I'm
nothing.
in.
And you ain't finna do nothing.
And you ain't
to me. Hey, this one.
You supposed to be fucking in my gym.
Come put me out of here, punk.
Get down. Get out of my gym.
Come put me out, motherfucker.
Now let him go, Mark. Yo,
Put me out. Put me out. Put me out. 41. You know what? 41 and 1.
You can fight for shit. Let me go. I'm gonna talk right here. You can fight.
Whoop me, motherfucker. Get your ass whooped.
You wasn't nothing but a
Hey,
motherfucker.
motherfuckers with me, man.
Let me go. I don't even know why you go.
Not one of you can say, don't talk to your father like that. Don't talk to your father like that. Not one of you can say to him, don't talk to your father like that. What's wrong with you? This is annoying. It doesn't matter if you're small, if you're tall, if you're slim or you're wide. Not one of you can say, don't talk to your father like that. Jokers, man. Look at that. Look at that. Get out of my gym. Like, just get out like he's a piece of scum. Get out of my gym. Get out of my gym. What, because you own a gym and you got money, you can talk to your father like that? Get out of there, man.
It's our gym. Get out of. Why you?
Look at all these full-grown yes men around him. All these, I don't know if they're bodyguards or they're boxers in the gym, but all these people, all these guys, yeah, they're just yes men. All these big guys, they might be physically big and stuff like that and tall, but they're all yes men. Like, most of these fighters, I'm sure they're from the ghetto, they're from tough areas. They don't speak to their mothers and their fathers like this. But yet, because Floyd has got all the money and they're on his payroll, they're not even saying anything. Even his uncle, the guy sitting on the side of the ring in a white t-shirt, that's his uncle. How are you letting your nephew, yeah, speak to your brother like that? You know? Because he knows that maybe they both aided him to become a good boxer. But he was there in his life, like before he went jail and stuff. He was there and stuff. And you just let him speak to your brother like that. And all these big, like these bodyguards or boxers, they all just let him, like, none of them are standing up to Floyd and say, listen, don't talk to your dad like that. Don't talk to your dad like that. Because why? Either they're going to get kicked out of the gym, or if they're bodyguards, he's going to remove them. You know? Like, you guys are yes men. Look. Imagine if Floyd Mayweather was still living in the ghetto, yeah? He was broke, yeah? He wouldn't be speaking to his father that way. There's no way, you know what I'm saying, that when he was broke, that he was that rude. For him to listen to his father and learn how to box and all this stuff and to take the discipline of, you know, eating correctly, doing, you know, all the exercise and all this stuff. Like, he had to have some kind of respect for his father. But now, because he's got all them cars, the big house, the private jet and all this kind of stuff, you look at the way he's talking to him. Like, was he a better human being? Was he a better human being when he was poor and broke? Yeah. And I'm not saying that you should be broke, like, because that can lead a person to be tempted to do crime and all that stuff, you know. But the whole thing is that, come on, man, like, the way he's speaking to his father, he ends up telling him to get out. The way he's talking to him and shouting at him in his face and stuff like that, even though his father, you know, is angry too. It's just wrong, you know. Like, as a Muslim, our Prophet said that you can't even say uff to your parents, you know. Like, you can't even like kiss your teeth, you know, as the Jamaicans say. You can't even say oof, even if they're in the wrong. Like, you can't talk back to them, man. And that's what we're losing in this day and age. We've got all this technology, all these vehicles, like all this like high tech stuff, gadgets, phones, equipment. But our morals are just getting worse and worse and worse. How can you speak to your dad like, nobody I know from a council estate, yeah, who grew up in a council estate, yeah, even if they left it, yeah, the council estate, or they got out the ends, speaks to their mothers like that.
In 1993, under his father's tutelage, Floyd won his first national Golden Gloves championship. He was 16.
It felt good, but it was very hard. I had to struggle, to fight. But first, I want to thank the good man upstairs for giving me this opportunity to win the national championship. And second of all, I want to thank my father.
This is a question. If someone is broke, but they're respectful to their family members, their mother, their father, their aunties, their uncles and so forth, older people in general, and people in the community in general, is that better if they stay broke but they're respectful to their fellow human beings? When someone becomes rich and then they become disrespectful to their parents, I think most people would most probably think money-wise and say, well, if you get rich, and get yourself out of the ghetto and all this kind of stuff, but you're rude to your parents and this, that, and the other, at least you got out of the ghetto. But I disagree. I disagree that if you get out of the ghetto and you start being disrespectful to your mother and your father, even if they're not perfect, which they ain't, because we ain't perfect, and so forth, I don't think you're a better human being. So look, his father wasn't his father was in his life, yeah. His father, taught him self-defense, which are two good qualities, yeah. But his father, also sold drugs, which is a bad example. And he said he even sold it to his mum, and he ended up going in jail. So we're not saying that his father is perfect, by any means. But the point is that regardless of whether your father's good or bad, like, there's certain things you can't do. Just like with old people, like if an old person is rude to you, yeah, you can't start swearing at them. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't start, like getting in their face and like shouting at them and so forth. These are just certain things. Well, that's what I believe. Like, as a Muslim and so forth, that no, regardless what certain people, your parents, your elders, your relatives, elders from the community, that no matter how rude they are to you or what they do to you, yeah, unless it's like physical stuff, you're allowed to like protect yourself and stuff, or get away from them. But even if they're rude to you, they deserve a certain amount of respect. Yeah, so shouting in their faces, or swearing at them, or like, it's just, they still have that level, you know, and so forth, that certain things you can't do to them. So, even if they're not the most perfect,
I'm saying, but all this.
That's kind of strange for him to say that they never had an argument and they had a good relationship until HBO was there when the cameras came to the gym. Maybe it's because he started to make money and so forth. But it's funny, like, most sons and fathers have disagreements because we're human beings and stuff. But I think he's talking about big, huge arguments. Maybe saying we didn't have like big, huge rows or big, huge like confrontations. Generally, like, we were okay and so forth. So maybe it's that the cameras were there, and because he started winning fights and stuff, his ego started to grow. Because he started getting all these like cars, private jets, and all this stuff, then maybe that's what the reason why. Because if they normally don't have arguments, but then when all of a sudden there's cameras, there from a big, one of the biggest sports stations or whatever, then maybe that's the reason why, you know.
I'm just saying, you know, and
He's taught you so much. You've taught him so much. Excuse me.
yes,
What have you learned
yes,
from Floyd?
huh?
What have you learned from Floyd? Junior, excuse me.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. We had, at one time, we was coming up, we have never had an argument in our life. Me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. We was on HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, I don't know. I'm just telling you, man. It is what it is. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that. People get money, man. Things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money, I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money.
Everything you taught me from day one. I always remember.
Everything working, baby. Everything working. Good. Hey, Floyd, be careful.
I got you.
Okay?
Thank you,
All right, baby.